Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here with a little Brittany Dawn update. I had quite a few thoughts. There are a lot of things kind of circulating right now with her, but today we're going to focus on the homeless person that she used on her own social media. Back in 2021, there's been a little bit of an update, and I wanted to share another video with you guys for context, but we're going to get into it. This is probably going to be a long video, but we'll get through it together. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, and if I look like a disaster or my hair is messy or my makeup is messy, it's because we gave Axel his spa day tonight, and that is aka a bath. But it's always a big task. It takes about 3 hours, and it's a lot of, his hair flying everywhere and hair shedding and shampoos and conditioners and all the good things. But that's finally done, so now I can sit down and film. And yeah, so basically, let me bring you guys up to speed. There is a TikTok page called Fun Mom Max, and on December 29th, so just over a week ago, she ended up uploading a little bit of a FaceTime interview with James. And if you guys are like, who's James? James is the homeless man that Brittany Dawn used for her own, very obvious savior complex. And she did this in 2021, where essentially she and her husband Jordan exploited this poor homeless man named James. They started a GoFundMe. What ended up happening was they sent him to a rehab that did not cost any money except, maybe a small entry fee and some, maybe a registration fee. My point is that the fees were very minimal because the place itself was free. With the GoFundMe, there were a lot of questions about, hey, we're donating. Where is this money going? Where has it gone? Show us the receipts. Because typically when you donate money, you want to know where it goes. And I think that's completely fair to, inquire. And Brittany Dawn was being sneaky like she usually is, and not answering questions with actual facts. And now we fast forward, this is gaining more traction because this girl went ahead and did this interview with James.
Walked into a coffee shop in Lake Worth, Texas, 431 days ago, beginning with the end in mind.
Well, the numbers don't lie. Jordan Nelson was legally a married man when Brittany began dating him. Does God approve of dating married men? Brittany, do tell.
He confirms that she and her husband Jordan both had pretty much ghosted him when he got out of the treatment facility. He wanted the rest of his GoFundMe money, and he figured out that he was blocked by them. So we're going to watch 2 videos from her, and then we're going to go over to Brittany Dawn's recent video that she just did today and listen to the nonsense that she and her husband Jordan are putting out to followers. So let's get into it.
I found James. Okay, so I can't explain how yet. I'm waiting to hear back from him. I did send him a message because I do want to know the truth. So this is what I messaged him literally minutes ago. Hopefully we hear a response back. While I was digging for James, before I found him, I found this right here, a few things that are tagged in Brittany's Instagram story, James Part 1. So the rehab center that they took James to was in Ohio, and it was called the Alpha House. And this is directly from their website. It says, the program is free to you. And if you hadn't seen or heard already, this is a faith-based program. In these programs, there's a lot of hard labor involved. It says here chores, but there's pictures of these men doing work on houses, the walls for the houses, roofs for houses, and they apparently sell honey too. I don't know what a halfway house is doing selling honey, but I guess revenue anywhere they can. I also, when I was digging, just found out that besides Britt Dawn Fitness and all the other scams that she has, this is now her newest little thing. I saw her referencing SLF a lot as a way that she's met a lot of people, this and that, and I was thinking it's someone else's business, but no, it's hers. They apparently have seminars and speakers come for these retreats that are usually one day that she has people pay for. But I just find it funny that after her fitness influencer scam was blowing up, she went to a different one to try to just mask what she did without talking about it. So this is an active page that's up that I guess if you didn't know who Brittany Dawn was, you could still be fooled by this. She also has BrittanyDawn.com, which is where she sells lash extensions. Anyways, back to James. Hopefully he responds back. I will let you guys know the outcome. Hopefully we can figure out the truth. Hi.
Hello?
Hi, James.
Hi.
Hey,
Hello.
is it okay if I record this for the people who don't think it's you?
Okay.
Awesome. Well, it's nice to officially see you.
Look different in the pictures. Do I? What's that?
You look different now, which is why people are, well, and your Facebook account is new, so people will think that, like, I made it, or, so they just wanted proof that it was you. They all have been dying to hear from you for the past, like, a year.
Oh.
So.
I don't even know. I was kept in the dark on everything.
So, yeah, can you explain, like, after you got out of rehab, kind of what happened? Or, it wasn't, it technically is a halfway house, right? Is where it was?
Yeah, the Alpha House?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went there, and then when I was in there, my sister moved to Ohio. So she let me stay with her after I graduated.
And you tried to reach out to, I know you tried to reach out to Cruz before you were done at the halfway house. And then after that, did you?
Yeah, we still talk on Facebook, me and Cruz.
You and Cruz do? Okay.
I still talk to Jordan because I didn't want to deal with money. I didn't know there was this whole account. I didn't know any of that. So I thought he was doing it out of his pocket. I wasn't sure. And then everybody showed me that there was like a fundraiser. And
so you had no idea about any that they were funding for you and that you were supposed to get that money.
Yeah, I found out later. They were talking to my family, but never got any. I guess they wanted receipts and all that for how much was there and what's accounted for, and they're having problems with that.
Yeah, because they're,
I don't know.
as far as we can see, yeah, it was $25,000 was raised for you, and $25,000 was raised on the GoFundMe, and I can send you this the screenshot of that too. And from what you say, you only got $6,000. So we're trying to figure out what happened to the rest of that and hold them accountable because what they did is not okay.
So that was part one. Let's get through part two quickly.
People would want to have proof of, but yeah, I'll keep in contact with you. What everyone's saying, everyone's basically just wanting you to have justice because, like I said, what they did was not okay. You should have had all of that money to you. It should have never been in their name. It should have been in your family's name, or like I said, delivered all to you. So we're trying to get to the bottom of this, and I
always think it's kind of sketchy if someone's going to do a GoFundMe and collect money using someone else's story. If it's someone outside of your family, why is that money going to you? Why is it not going to the individual whose story that it is that you're sharing? You know, this just gets in the very tricky waters because there are absolutely people that need help and they need financial assistance, and GoFundMes can be absolutely amazing for that. But then when you have someone like Brittany Dawn and her husband, or countless other people that have done similar situations, Once the question marks start to show up, they usually don't slow down. And unfortunately, money is the root of all evil. People will do anything for money. And I think we see that exhibited across the internet every single day.
Appreciate your time. So,
Okay.
yeah. So, if anything else, if I need anything else that people are, wondering about, or if you need anything from us, please let us know, because everyone's asking how we can help you.
Okay.
All right.
I don't really know. I'm just, I'm doing all right.
You're doing okay? That's what everyone wants to know.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
I'm sober.
And your sister's taking you in. I mean, I can tell you've put on good weight. Like it's
Yeah.
I
got a lot of weight.
No.
So if they raised 25 grand and he only saw approximately 6,000 of it, I know that some people have had questions about, does GoFundMe keep a percentage of the money? Like, could that be where some of the money went to? Yes, they do keep a small percentage, but not for that math to shake out the way that it does.
But that means that you're healthy. That means that you're eating. That means, so it's good. It's good to see. I'm happy to see you smiling. So, yeah, I'll let you know if they really want to help. All these millions of people want to help. So yeah, like if you need anything specifically, let us know and we'll get it to you. Straight to you.
Okay.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time so much. All right. Have a good night. And bye, sister. Thank you for taking care of him.
You want to say hi?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you. I really don't want to deal with the problems either, and that's why it's kind of gone on for so long. Like my dad tried to ask, and then I tried to ask, and then now that I kind of told him, like, if you don't get back to me, I'm gonna have to contact GoFundMe because I don't know where all this money went. And last screenshot I had from my dad, it was actually 20,000. So I didn't even know there was another 5,000.
Yes, it went up.
He was like, "Oh, well, if you want to get like that," and then he started getting rude with me. So I'm like,
No,
not my favorite thing to do.
I completely understand. I think they took advantage of you guys. Well, I don't think I know that they took advantage of you guys. And you should absolutely reach out to GoFundMe. And I would make a police report too. She's already being investigated by the district attorney for fraud. So you could also contact Texas district attorney and let them know as well. But I would completely follow up because that is your guys' money.
Now, just as an FYI, there is a new GoFundMe for James. Of course, I will link it in my description box for anyone who wants to just take a look at it, or if you're in a position that you want to help this man, then by all means. Just the fact that it's very funny when money is a topic and there are questions being asked. If somebody gets super snarky or snippy, mean, rude kind of thing when you're asking those questions, that is a huge red flag, especially when it's not technically their money that you're even asking questions about. It's your money for your family member. What a mess. So let's go over to YouTube. Now, I want you guys to notice she has 390,000 subscribers on YouTube. This video, titled "Final Warning, Leave James Alone and Us Too," was posted 9 hours ago. It only has 16,000 views. That says a lot to me. Before we get into the video, I want to share with you guys that, of course, she has a Bible quote in the description box. Is that surprising? No. She is monitoring this comment section like it's her full-time job right now. A lot of people in the comments pushing things along the lines of, God's gonna raise you up, James. James, keep smiling. You got to remember, religious people killed Jesus. So sorry to James. Ask the Lord for protection. Praying for y'all. Of course, people are offering prayers. Glory be to God. Y'all are applauding somebody who is using and used a homeless man for her own financial gain. This video is monetized. So Brittany Dawn is still using his story for her own financial gain. Is the AdSense from this money going to go to James? Absolutely not. Is it going to go to Brittany Dawn and Jordan? Absolutely.
What's up, everybody?
Hey guys.
kind of ridiculous that we have to do this, but we're going to film a video about James. We're going to explain some of the just outright lies that are out there, and we're going to actually have a call with James's sister, April, who we...
Now, his sister April is on this call. He must have two sisters, because the sister that was in the FaceTime interview that we just watched does not look like this sister. So what I think is happening here is there's two sisters. One sister is on James's side. The other is obviously siding with Brittany and Jordan, which we will hear more about as the video goes on. And poor James is just kind of stuck in the middle, where his story was used for income that he did not receive. That is the main takeaway.
We worked with hand in hand
very closely
within a couple of days of starting to help James. She came into our lives and worked in day out with us to make decisions for him, along with James's father, to try to lead and steward everything that was done for James the best that we knew how, what the family wanted. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, it's not a witch hunt. It's people that donated money and wanted to know where the money went. That's not a witch hunt. That is not bullying. It's not someone being harassed. This has everything to do with people donating their hard-earned money and asking questions, which they are absolutely allowed to do. Without a doubt, if you're donating money to a cause, whether it be a GoFundMe, a charity, your neighbor, if you donated money, you have every right to, at a surface level, know what was done with the money. And when we're talking about this amount of money and GoFundMe is involved, receipts, receipts, receipts.
How far that this has gotten. This is nothing short of a fictitious witch hunt. There are some people out there that truly care about James, us included, immensely, but the majority of the people that are involved in this,
that are behind all of this,
do not care about James. This is a fictitious witch hunt to try to get at us. They stop at nothing.
Brittany Dawn has ruined her own life, her own reputation with the things that she has done. As far as Jordan, you would probably still be a police officer if you didn't get physically aggressive and slam that man to the ground, so much to the point where you're not a cop and you were sued by the ACLU. So step off your soapbox.
To try to ruin anything and everything in our lives. This has gone too far. And so here in a minute, we're going to hop on a call with April, and she is going to share some details. This is an interesting situation because there's some details that we're just not going to share.
I mean, can I pause you right
Yeah.
here? We are talking about a human life. You know, people do GoFundMes every day for charities, for people that are injured in the hospital, for businesses they want to start up. People do GoFundMes.
Yes, but when you're a known liar and you have been sued by the state of Texas for being a scammer, that's where people start to have red flags. Once, I say this all the time, once you are shown to be dishonest, it is near impossible to gain that trust back from your audience. If you don't want questions about it, keep it offline. If you don't want opinions about it, keep it offline. Keep it off the internet. And if you're asking people to donate out of the kindness of their hearts and you're using this man's story, they have every right to know where the money is going.
People do GoFundMes for a variety of things. And while I understand that there are people that want to be invested, again, like you said, half the people, if not most of the people that are behind this witch hunt, do not care about James's well-being. They do not care about where James is today. They just genuinely want to try to see us. This is a human life. There are things that do not need to be released to the public for any reason at all. There are things that we do not owe an explanation for because he is where he needs to be. He is where we said we were.
Brittany Dawn really wants to talk about, oh, this is human life and people don't care about James. Brittany Dawn, you're also somebody who has a record of taking advantage of people financially. All of the proof is out there. Your husband, Jordan, is someone who killed your dog. You co-signed it by running your ass in the house instead of saying, no, we're going to get my dog end-of-life care. You are a proven, you are a proven grifter. You will do anything in order to make an extra dollar. She just recently utilized her foster baby for, as a prop, basically. Oversharing about the mother, oversharing about the child, making sure that she has clickable links in the clothing that she's showing on her Instagram stories. Her reputation has made itself thanks to her public fuck-ups.
Is where we said we were going to take him, and he is doing incredible now. And that is why we are so fired up, is this has gone way too far. This is the bad side of the internet. The internet can do great things. We saw it with James. James is literally out of rehab, on his feet, has been on his own feet for quite some time now, but there are dark sides to the internet, and that is where the line is being drawn today.
Hopping on a call with him without...
Yeah, but let's also make sure that we give thanks to the facility that he went to. Yeah, sure, like they might have helped him get into said facility, but when it comes to conquering sobriety and, you know, dealing with things like addiction and stuff like this, it's on you to make sure that you follow and keep on the path. I cannot believe that Brittany Dawn is sitting here trying to take credit for someone else staying sober. Ew.
Out discussing prior to ask his consent, and just recording is completely inappropriate.
Yeah.
There is a reason that James never appeared on really much of our stuff.
He was on my stories, but he never wanted to talk.
No.
And I never made him, and I never would make him talk.
Yep.
Like, that's
and a
all
lot of that was actually...
She did ask him for consent. She definitely did. That's why that FaceTime call happened, because he knew exactly what was going on and that it was going to be shared in a video.
At the request of his family, because James is a very shy person.
I'm going to stop you there. His family knew that we were sharing on social media. His family followed me. They literally saw everything that I posted. I mean, April will say it herself here in a little bit on the call. They could not thank us enough because they had tried this before and it didn't work. And what we did for James, how we helped James get on his feet.
Putting someone on social media and running a GoFundMe that made over $20,000 that they did not get what they were owed from are two completely different things. I still disagree with her putting him all over Instagram and things like that. We'll always disagree with that because I've said before, there's a gray area when it comes to sharing how you give back to your community, and the amount of content that she made surrounding James and his story was astronomical. It was not required. It was driven by money and wrapped up in greed.
Long nights and the crazy hours of trying to get him there.
And we'll get into all that, but a couple of things that are just outrageous is to say, oh wow, you look different. No kidding. You think he doesn't need to give you proof of who he is? Yeah. This video that's out there where this lady says, oh, you look different, people didn't believe it. He doesn't have to prove who he is. Yeah. Like anything like that. And we're going to explain a lot of the stuff that was in that video. Some of it we're not, and some of it we're not at the direction and the wishes of his sister. There are things that we're not going to try to prove to some internet trolls.
Okay, but if you would have given him your GoFundMe, the GoFundMe money that he was entitled to, that video interview would have never even taken place because there would have been no questions. They are the ones that started this, three-ring circus that is now unfolding.
That we didn't do anything inappropriate. We are not going to put James on blast and share things that could be embarrassing or damaging to him just to suffice some internet trolls.
Truth seekers and people asking questions are not trolls, as a friendly reminder.
Do not care about James, that just want to come after us. Consider yourself put on notice, because this is ridiculous. Y'all can make fun of us. Y'all can say stuff about us. We don't care. We truly, legitimately do not care. But when you drag an innocent person into something like this that is so bogus, that's where it's got to stop. And that's the justification and the reason for this video. How offensive to say that he was in a halfway house. Halfway houses are for people that are coming out of jail.
Yeah, I have a definition right here that I would love to read. A residential facility where people leaving prison or jail, sometimes completing a condition of probation, are required to live before being fully released into their communities.
So James was somehow a criminal now? No, he was a person struggling with an addiction, like so many people in this country do. Like I said, when we get into this call with his sister,
So she's twisting that a little bit. So Brittany Dawn obviously found the definition that suits her narrative for this video, but if you go on Wikipedia, it says a halfway house is an institute for people with criminal backgrounds or substance use disorder problems to learn or relearn the necessary skills to reintegrate into society and better support and care for themselves. As well as serving as a residence, halfway houses provide social, medical, psychiatric, educational, and other similar services. They are termed, quote, halfway houses due to their being halfway between completely independent living and an inpatient facility where residents are highly restricted in their behavior and freedoms. So obviously she just found the one that suited her, but let's also talk about that because the facility that they sent him to is actually called Halfway House. I'll throw the screenshot right here because I have it saved. Saying that someone is in a halfway house, to me, is not a bad thing. And even if it was, let's just say that it was for people coming out of jail. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, you're really trying to paint this really nasty image of what a halfway house is. I think that's the least of people's concerns. So let's get back to showing receipts and providing proof of where James's money went.
Communicated with us on a daily basis. We're going to let her dictate what we share. And there's a reason that James isn't on this video, and that is because that is just going to re-victimize and exploit him. They are in communication. We have been in communication. And y'all need to also back off Cruz, because Cruz was nothing but amazing.
Literally the most incredible man.
They're family. And y'all are trying to throw him under the bus like he did something wrong. No one did anything wrong here. We set out to help someone who was in need. And we'll get into some explanation. James didn't just receive $6,000. And it was just short of 2 months that James was with us. We'll get into this more when we're with April. We're not independently wealthy to fully support someone living in a hotel who has nothing. All of the money that was donated sustained James and his life from the time he entered our care until he went to rehab in Ohio. And then, in fact, sustained more while he was at rehab. The rehab center was free, but James's living expenses were not free. His cigarettes were not free. His spending money wasn't free. That all went to support him. Not one single dollar was used inappropriately. Every single dollar went to James that was donated to James. We're going to have April on, and we'll let her share from the family's perspective. There's some claims out there that will not be addressed because we are not going to re-victimize or exploit James just to answer a question put forth by an internet troll who really doesn't care about James. Stay tuned, because this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we are gathered on this call because this has gotten absolutely ridiculous.
But let's also talk about the fact that he was plastered all over Brittany Dawn's Instagram, and she shared the fact that he was missing there for a little while. She overshared, how they were, quote, helping him and, being the white saviors that they are and all of the good things that they were doing while collecting money on this GoFundMe. He was plastered all over her Instagram, and he is still on her Instagram as of today. It is a highlight reel on her Instagram. So let's not talk about proper consent if we're also not going to acknowledge the fact that James, his image and his story was plastered all over her very large social media platform. And if you go to this TikToker's page, the one that they have a big problem with, this account has 23,000 followers. That's a fraction of the audience that Brittany Dawn has, and she's the one that started this train in motion.
In this video where James is basically tricked into giving an on-camera interview where they already have him being filmed, and if you notice, they ask him and they say he doesn't say yes or isn't exuberant or excited about it. He's like, okay. And the three of us know James quite well, obviously you being the best out of any of us, April, but that, knowing him, that does not, that he was not okay with that.
Yeah. Okay, so this goes in so many different directions. So y'all are gonna have to bear with me. First of all, not only do you have my permission to videotape this, you have my permission, James's permission, James's dad's permission, and my husband's permission.
So this woman is consenting for her brother, and we do not see James in this video. He doesn't call in. He doesn't join this WebEx that they're doing, or Cisco, or whatever it is. He literally is not part of this conversation, but we should take her word for it that he gave proper consent.
But at this point, public, James doesn't want to deal with this anymore. Yeah. Period. He doesn't. And he is allowing me to come on here and speak on his behalf. So that way, hopefully, you guys will learn to leave him alone.
Yeah, because we can agree, April, the video done of James, it may.
I don't know if anyone is sending negative vibes James's way. They should not be. For the most part, what I've seen personally is people extremely concerned as to where did the GoFundMe money go to, and why is Brittany Dawn so damn greedy? That's what I've seen. If y'all have seen something different, please share it in the comments below.
Somewhat appear that person cares about James. Let's call a spade and be real. That person, that is a fictitious witch hunt trying to get at Brittany and me. Let's not get it mistaken that person is out to seek the truth for James's benefit. We're going to share the truth.
It's for likes and views, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, which is totally hypocritical, because every day.
Instead of talking about a witch hunt, let's get to the fact of the matter, and let's actually show some receipts. Let's talk about the facts. And let's also acknowledge that none of this would be happening if it wasn't for Brittany plastering him all over her own social media.
Every day. I can't believe she's posting this. That's what a social influencer does.
Yeah.
I can't even think of it. However, this leads into this. When Brittany and Jordan met James.
So just because she's an influencer, that means that the public can't have opinions about it? Is that what I'm gathering from that? Because that's hypocritical. If you don't want opinions about it, keep it offline.
Jordan and Brittany, at the time that they had contacted us, had let us know that the GoFundMe was open and that there was $12,000 in it. And what do they do with it? And the answer from myself, as well as James's father, was, whatever you do, do not give it to him. Because at that point, whenever James would get his hands on money, it would not be to buy those cigarettes or a hotel room for the night or shoes for his feet or clothes for his back. He went to find the quickest numbing agent that he could get his hands on. And with
that's what's so frustrating, April. I hate to interject for a second. That's what's so frustrating is in the video that whoever this person, I saw their TikTok handle or whatever. They honestly don't deserve. They don't.
I'm
deserve,
not giving them any more likes.
Yeah, they don't deserve to get any. They have gone above and beyond of exploiting James in this scenario. But what they asked him, what I found important, and we've discussed this, is not necessarily what they asked him, what they didn't ask him, and
exactly.
They didn't. Well, the truth of the matter is, it was requested by. He's like, well, I've been kept in the dark by this. And that wasn't at Brittany and I's choice. That was at the request of you and his father.
No, you guys were going to get the money out of the GoFundMe and put it in his hands and give him a bus ticket to go wherever he wanted to go. And the reason why he was going to have to take a bus is because on his journey, he didn't have an ID.
Yeah.
He no longer had his identification on him.
Which that's what people out there.
Were dirty.
So Jordan really wants to talk about James being exploited by a TikToker. Whose fault is it that the internet knows about James? All that people wanted to know was, how about this money? We're dealing with Brittany Dawn, who does not have a very positive track record when it comes to being honest on the internet. Where is the money? You want to talk about him being exploited on TikTok? No.
Yeah.
What people don't realize is James's faith is very important to him.
Yes.
And I think it's something that got him through some of his darkest times. And that is well within his right. And yeah, that Bible was his most prized possession. And we did buy him a larger Bible at his request. And what the trolls out there don't understand is we had full permission from James, from you, and from his father to manage his finances during that time. You were so
dark, to keep him alive, to keep him sheltered, to keep him fed, and to fix.
Now here's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to keep you guys here for a really long time. This interview, I'm going to take a few snippets of what she has said during this, and I'm going to make a little bit of a compilation. There are a few takeaways. They had to make sure that he could get into a smoking facility. She talks about how they were paying for his hotel, and his Jordan talks about his boots or shoes being in really poor condition, and how they bought him a new Bible and all of this kind of stuff. So during this entire time, call it 30 minutes of a full conversation with this woman, there is not one receipt shown. There is not one piece of evidence to prove that Brittany and Jordan are being honest about this situation. That's what I want you guys to take away from this. I function, I function in an evidence-based world. Okay? I don't follow along and say, oh, that's your word, I'll go ahead and take it. There are very few people in my life that I will take their word at face value. But when we're talking about internet culture and money and greedy influencers who have been caught scamming and now they're being sued, when we're talking about these kinds of people, receipts matter. Actual receipts. Not, oh, I promise this is what's going on. I want to take you guys back to that TikToker's account, and I'm going to share this video that she just recently posted with an update when one of Brittany Dawn's fans came into her comments and wanted to defend Brittany. So I will play that right now. She also goes over the halfway house situation. and just reminds everybody that there was not a shred of evidence shown in Brittany's video.
So let me just make a few comments on their new YouTube video that's up. First of all, what's ridiculous is the fact that people are trying to figure out where the money went that they donated, and you think that's ridiculous. Because I think people have every right to know, and you should have provided receipts. In that whole 40-minute YouTube video, not one receipt was provided. Doesn't that say halfway house? And isn't that where he went? And yes, halfway houses are not just for prisoners, they're for psychiatric patients or drug addicts at sometimes. It depends on the facility. Also, James knew about the FaceTime beforehand because in our messages, it literally stated why I even wanted the video calls, because people on here were saying that wasn't him. And then he messaged me back saying he was willing to do the FaceTime call, so it wasn't a trick. The only reason I put that on the video was for asking him of his approval, is so no one would say anything, so that people would say, yes, I did get his approval. Which again, I got before the video and on camera for people. It's funny, the runaround, you guys are pointing fingers and still have provided no proof. If the money went to other things like his hotel or this or that, just provide those receipts. It's that simple. People just want to know where the money went. And honestly, they can't take your word for it. Sorry, not sorry. Troll or not, at least I back what the fuck I say. And yes, a lot of us also help the homeless, but we don't film it for fucking clout. And if I was to, I'd be able to provide the receipts on exactly where the money went. And that's literally all people are asking for. They donated, thinking it would all go to James. James himself said he didn't receive all that money. I don't know where it went, because no one will provide receipts, so. 40 minutes of runaround and bullshit, and y'all still couldn't provide one fucking receipt.
I just found it really distasteful that his sister got up there and consented for him, agreed that he was, quote, being exploited on TikTok, wants to claim that only James needs to know about where that money went. We focus on actual proof. And there was no proof, and it was 40 minutes of blibber blabber nonsense. So I don't think that that video did anything to help the situation. I think that people are very upset with Brittany and Jordan for good reason. And now I think that red flags are being shown on this sister for the nonsense that she pulled. So the entire situation is a huge mess. I feel for James. Again, I will link his new GoFundMe that's not being run by Brittany and Jordan in my description box. If you guys are curious, go check it out. But I hope that he is well, and I hope that he is not receiving any negative feedback online. I hope that it's positive, and I hope that he realizes that, Brittany Dawn is getting attention because she is not a good person, and her husband is not a good person. It's not trolls, it's not a witch hunt, it's not people just being nosy. When you donate to a GoFundMe, you have every right to know where that money went. There should be transparency, and that's how the internet operates. Transparency, receipts, truth, and if you're not going to be truthful, then you're going to be called out, and that's why commentary channels come into play. So either way, those are my thoughts on this. There's nothing that Brittany Dawn could do that would surprise me. She's like a lot of other YouTubers, and that's really unfortunate. But those are my thoughts for tonight. So if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Full permission from James, from you, and from his father to manage his finances during that time. You are so
dark, to keep him alive, to keep him sheltered, to keep him fed, and to figure out what was next.
It was a journey, and we all, how many times a day did the three of us talk?
I don't know. It's on an old phone, or else I'd bring up my call history. I swear to God.
I know you would. But I'm not exaggerating. 4 to 5 times a day was low. They have crucified Cruz for being involved in this.
Literally the most amazing.
Once again,
his whole family.
They're just trying to get at Brittany and I.
Yeah.
It is one of their
and
many
they're going to
witch hunts.
crucify Cruz when James himself admits, listen, I have a great relationship with Cruz. We still talk on Facebook.
Yeah.
Maybe the reason why James and Jordan doesn't talk is because Jordan doesn't have a Facebook. Maybe the reason why James was found so quickly all of a sudden is because James is finally in the right mind where he is able to deal with social media Everybody wants to know why Brittany posted, and then stopped. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, she stopped because I was a thread away from being threatening when I called her and said, do not put my brother's face on the internet again. Mm-hmm. Okay. I am my brother's fiercest protector.
There are an immense amount of trolls that dislike Brittany. And now in turn, thankfully, I am the gracious beneficiary of a lot of those same trolls. And they don't realize that, yeah, we would love for this. It's not even, it's come after us, say we're terrible people, do what you do on a daily basis that runs your life. Because apparently there's a lot of folks out there that don't have a life of their own.
It's certainly despicable that people have time to follow Brittany 24/7 and then pass the bullshit along. It certainly is.
Yeah, they choose to criticize ours. Well, what I was going to say is I would love for this to go away, but as difficult, and prior to the fraudulent claims of any stealing of money or misuse of money, and hiding this from James and all this jazz, would we do it again? 1000%.
Yeah. Because and I told my brother that today.
Because I could not live with myself, nor could Brittany, nor could Cruz, knowing that we had the ability to positively impact a life. Like, the proof is in the pudding. It's so cliche, and I hate to say it, but when people question whether you're the same person as a previous picture or a post, now that they've seen you healthy, that says everything. Yeah. And he is the same heart. That's the thing. I can't tell you how infuriating it makes me, April, that they exploited him in a video to prove people want to know. It's none of your business, people. It's none of your business. Let the guy go and live his life that he has completely turned around, and because they're trying to get at us.
And if James is that concerned about it, he'll call Jordan. They'll work it out.
Well, and April, we talked about this in your conversation, and on purpose, because it is none of your business of the people who are watching this video.
It's none of my business. Well, but here I am.
Well, it is.
But it is, April.
The people watching this video, it is none of their business.
Yeah, right.
But in your conversation, correct me if I'm wrong, April. I want to find the right way to say this, because in no way.
Say it just how I said it. I don't care.
In no way will we share information. No one else. No troll. No one else. Nobody sitting in their basement typing on Reddit was present when the three of us plus Cruz were fighting to help James turn his life around. And so,
well, I'm going to say this because it was out there. Windows had to be repaired. Hotel rooms had to be moved because there was shady shit going on in the lobby that y'all knew was not a good situation for James. Y'all, they didn't put him in a Motel 6. They didn't find a pay-by-the-hour hotel. Okay, he had, and these are his words when he called me, I feel like a celebrity. He says, you will never believe this suite that I'm in, April. It is so sweet. And he would have been perfectly happy with the corner room. He would have been happy with the broom closet of somewhere if he wouldn't have gotten in trouble. But he was put up, and it was on a video in a very posh hotel room.
We are not, just as you mentioned earlier, we are not independently wealthy. Brittany has a job. I have a job. When you are helping someone through a dark period like that, it is a full-time job. And we needed all the help we could get. And there was, let's just, like I said, I refuse to do what these people have done, and that is exploit James. We have never.
And where the money went was supporting him during that time and after.
Yeah.
And then the balance was sent. And that is my understanding. Now, whatever the balance is maybe, again, it's not your business.
Well,
okay.
April, that's
and
my business.
Before you guys think, and I'm not talking you and Brittany Jordan, before you guys think that money was not spent, or that it was spent on the Nelson's wedding or whatever, do me a favor, go out there, find somebody who is under a bridge, rebuild their lives for them in a matter of 30 days, meeting that person's criteria of where they want to go, how they're going to do it, never giving up on them, and come back to me, Beautiful Disaster 916 on Reddit, and you tell me how cheap it was.